Hello there everyone and welcome back. I gotta say I was not happy with those battles, but at the same time I'm just gonna have to get reacclimated with this fleet there, start get used to their strengths and how I should be optimizing them. Since I do have 2 upgrades for close range engagement, so in all seriousness, well technically I have 3 close range type of upgrades in all seriousness, so I should be trying to get really aggressive more often than not, although that can be tricky and that can be suicidal if not done properly. And also there's a lot of things that were working against me there in the last episode too. For one, the big obvious gaping one is the fact that these hotkeys for a lot of these abilities are completely random, completely different, because have a look at the shield transfer, which I've been wanting to use on top of the supercharged void shield. Going between the overlords, the retribution, as well as the tyrants, they're all completely different hotkeys. So it's a wonder when I'm trying to rapid fire shield transfers to get my shields back up for durability's sake, why I'm activating abilities I don't wish to. It is a little bit infuriating, and I'm really hoping it's something they improve and fix for Armada 2. Surprisingly, with my Dictator there, having a Mechanicus upgrade doesn't really seem to make much of a difference there. I'm not exactly sure why it is. If I were to switch out the Recon Probe for like another supercharged Void Shield, would that be similar? I don't know, that's something I'll have to play test. And even my Mechanicus favors looks like they're pretty straightforward, so I don't know what to make of that in all honesty. It's irritating nonetheless, and it may have cost me a lot more trouble than necessary. Never mind the fact I was getting sloppy. But I can't really say much else. I'm hoping, if nothing else, to just improve my game and caliber. If nothing else, that's what I'm going to strive for. Alas, we have to do a 250 point battle. I was kind of itching for more 600, 700 point battles, and I was tempted to go for pseudo frigate swarm here, but since we're fighting up against chaos, that may not be the best idea, considering lances are going to be doing very effective. Damn it! I don't need these noises for updates. I don't know why they're suddenly appearing. This is honestly like the first time it actually happened in my recording, it feels like. So I'm weirded out it actually is giving me that. Nonetheless, do I go with the single ship? It probably doesn't hurt. Let's give it a try there. Let's challenge ourselves, even though, arguably, with me being outnumbered with possibly 3 light cruisers, we'll give this a shot. I just gotta make sure I spread out the damage. For if he has the carrier ships, the carrier light cruisers, then I should be perfectly fine. I have additional point defense on, I think, the swords, so they're just as good as an additional dauntless for all intents and purposes. So I basically got 4 dauntlesses worth of point defense, right? Yes, I do. It may not mean a whole lot, especially if he has lances, but I like the prospect. I like the idea. I just gotta make sure these ships defend each other. For I'm gonna have to keep really close to the dauntless if I want to spread out the damage. I do have at least some upgrades that work well for me, like the short burn torpedo is going to be handy. Extended sensors are probably going to be essential. If my opponent doesn't know how to use the beacons, it remains to be seen. And I think this all but confirms that we're dealing with 3 light cruisers.
Your orders?
So I gotta be ready. Gotta be prepared for this. This is going to take a while to burn through all that health. It remains to be seen if they're all lances, which is probably the case. I'm just strictly going to get outgunned here if I'm not careful. My dauntless can get super aggressive. My swords are what the liabilities are, though.
Awaiting orders.
But with extended range, if they stay outside vision, actually be pretty good. So let me actually have them hang back outside vision. Maybe we'll let the dauntless do the spine, at least initially, and that way these swords could probably keep out of vision. That way, relatively good. Oh, and I've been talking so much I didn't even notice the beacon, which is kind of okay. I have silent run. And I think I could just dodge these anyway with all but my dauntless maybe. I might have to do a hard turn for that to actually work though. But the sword should be fine. Should be perfectly fine. I gotta make sure I continue to harass with the torpedoes and at least soften them up as much as possible, because that is so damn important. Come on, moment of truth. I shouldn't have turned. I shouldn't have turned because it may make the difference. No, I'm actually clear. I'm perfectly clear there. Now it's just a question, is he gonna assault run or not? Again, if this is a level 1 fleet, my extended sensor is going to be amazing up until any beacons he may be launching. So I think I have a good way and means to start off this engagement. It just depends again. Well, that beacon's going to be up by the time I get within combat range anyway, so let's be very mindful of that fact. Since he's going to launch at the frigates, perhaps, reveal all of them, and then I'll be forced to burn Assault Run if I'm not careful. And he did even Assault Run too. Since we did see the cruiser pop on out, I'm not seeing any point defense. Let's just get ready. The Dauntless is going to go in there first. I just don't want to reveal myself too quickly, with that said. Since I am going to leave myself very vulnerable to early lance fire. But there's not really much else to say just yet, and I do have extended sensors on this Dauntless too, so my vision is as good as it could be. It remains to be seen. Well, I was going to say maybe if I should have took a Widowmaker or not. Not really necessary, I don't think. Again, we should be dealing with things that are only level 1, possibly level 1. If he's level 2, I don't know what upgrade he would have chosen. If he knows what he's doing, he may have gone with either extended sensors or the energy overcharge, or overload. Still no clue where he's at just yet. He basically turned himself around at some point, because I seriously doubt he has siege. Now, we can turn. Let's just go and get fade, because he's looking to try and get me with some lances early on. And I should be able to dodge this with the Dauntless. I don't know about the swords. Swords should be fine. And once I spawn him, I should be able to do something about this. Come on, sword number 3. I believe in you. You unnamed sword. You look like you're good. We still have a lot of health to deal with. But so far this has been tense because I don't want to give him any free shots. And I haven't even seen where his point defense were coming from either. So that makes it a little more difficult for me to pick my engagements. For I was a little bit distracted by the recon beacon. But we know what 2 of his skills are at least. It remains to be seen if he has an actual probe to actually stick on me though. And I'm hoping his torpedo will reveal something for me. Because we're getting close to the point of no return there. Where we're going to be able to engage. Let's see, I'm watching intently for at least some point defense. Since we know he was in here earlier. Okay, his third ability is a stasis bomb. He really is trying to stall this out. This is really weird. Let's see, Mark II, so that is the Lance variant, yes. And now, with the stasis bomb, I might as well hold fire. I do not want that glitch to kind of like trigger it again. Because after all, it wouldn't be as significant with my turrets and all that, mind you, but it would substantially slow down my rate of fire. And I do have vision. This is where my level advantage comes in, just because of the recon beacon alone. I don't know where the hell his other cruisers went, but I think we try and cripple. Damn it, that was a bad torpedo shot. Okay, we see 2 of them. If anything, I should just lock on. Get ready for another recon probe. That's what I should be watching for. So if anything, I should probably turn these swords around, keep them separate from my Dauntless for a time being, because that's likely going to get revealed. Okay, here comes the lance fire I was expecting. And swords, they are revealed, but let's scare them. I should have probably tried boarding them, which I could still do. Let me make sure I target the engines. I need to find a weak link here. Keep going, keep firing. He may try and prioritize my frigates, with that said. Now, this is gonna hurt a bit, but the damage is really damn good, and we got ourselves a critical hit on this one Hellbringer. Come on, finish it off. That's all I ask. I may have to fire more torpedoes on it, though. Actually, we did enough damage. Let me just go into the gas gland and hide myself. I have means to do that until he assault runs. It's just a question, are all my swords revealed? That's one thing I never paid attention on. No way to know, it doesn't look like it, but my shields are about to come back up. I'm hitting, so that's the best I can ask for now. Pay attention to the recon probes that's likely going to be coming here pretty soon. And I think I have an additional, what is it, Tech Priest to help with my boosting my repairs, so that should be pretty useful here in this regard. And my speed's 188, so I'm not going to be catching up to him pretty good, but the range is significant. Without a doubt, this range is going to be pretty damn good, and I'm just curious. I don't see a repair aura. I was half thinking maybe using melted torpedoes. But not the case here. Just keep on going. Let's hit this crippled one. I want to try and hit this thing some more, because I do have the range, I do have the firepower.
Ship ready.
Just gonna make sure I'm in position to kind of evade some more. Since these swords got their job, I'm just gonna hold off on the lock-on, at least for a little bit longer. And since I have the extended sensors, it's actually really convenient for me. I'm sorry, buddy. This frigate is going to die really quickly, but I think I can turn his attention onto something a little more threatening now. And I thought I had to auto... Let's see. Now, finish this thing off. Torpedoes. Did a good hit there. Just got to finish this thing off now. Can they do it? Yes. One down. I locked on. I didn't want to lock on, but I think it may actually work in this situation, considering he is trying to run away from me after all. My Dauntless may not survive, but I have the firepower now, so long as the frigates are the ones taking the hits. That's the big deal. And I was hoping... Oh, I thought I'd prioritize all of them to hit their engines. Nope, not the case. But these swords are in good shape now. He's actually not able to focus the lances as well as he would want. And he shot down 2 of my torpedoes too. That was lucky. Immediately at least. But then again, I was kind of in point blank range, wasn't I?
At your command.
Let's try and finish this off. I have 30 seconds until my repairs come back up. So I think we do something ballsy, which is just get out of his line of fire, is what my plan is. So that way, maybe I could get some repairs set up. I'm heavily damaged, so I'm not going to get it, but this thing should be dead in a moment. I gotta make sure they're all targeting the one ship I want. Sadly, that's gone, but I think victory can still be ours here, since he doesn't quite have the firepower unless he wants to ram me. That's what he needs to do. And he has to be good at these rams as well. That's the real trick.
Awaiting orders.
Alright, that's not going to happen there. He got a hull breach. That's a really sucky situation for me. But I have lock on now on almost everything. Okay. Actually, let me ram this thing. This thing's about to die anyway. Let's maximize its damage potential some. Can we kill this thing? The shields will go down quickly. He has no orders. His stasis bomb's back up, so I gotta be mindful of that. And I do have repairs. That's gonna help a ton in this regard, since they will give me additional 9 points of health, and it looks like I'm gonna get stuck in the damn stasis bomb. Turn off this. Hold fire. You are not shooting because of that dang little trait. The last thing I need right now, and I might as well try and critically hit the weapons. And now I guess I burnt retros as well, which is a bit of a pain. There, now fire everything you got. Sadly, haven't got any broken critical hit, actually proper critical hits that I would want, but should be good. Is it enough firepower though? That's the one thing I do not know. And actually, let me keep an eye on my repair status. Basically, everything's going to be down for a while, so this is probably the health I'm going to be stuck with for a good time. Come on, keep on boosting. My combustion gauge is going to come up in a moment.
Course plotted. Resuming normal function.
Alright, come on.
Cruising speed set.
One more time.
Burn retros.
He's trying to ram these things.
Acquiring new vector.
That actually that heavily damaged them. That probably was a good thing in disguise. So long as my sword doesn't actually get destroyed. That's the big thing.
Cruising speed set.
Come on, can we do it? He could get lucky hull breaches and kill me off. That's the only thing that could ruin this, because I'm going to have a hard time getting through that shield. Okay, his prow is gone. That's good, it's only temporary damage. One more hit. That is a victory unless it explodes. Well, that was interesting. That was an interesting battle. I feel like that should have gone horribly for me, considering how easily those frigates could have been sniped by 3 Mark II Hellbringers. Since the one main benefit of the frigates is it reduces accuracy against, well, any macro battery shooting at them gets like an aim penalty, which is not the case when you're considering lances, which is the primary weapon of said Hellbringers. So I got a little bit lucky there in that they actually survived as long as they did, Hard to really say how it could have done them better with the Dauntless, mind you, without a doubt. Maybe I shouldn't have gone with it first, since it did have a shield transfer, which wasn't really very helpful, since I had no other cruisers to benefit and kind of split the damage with. But that was definitely a tense battle, probably not one I want to go through repeatedly, since I feel like in any other circumstance that probably would have gone horribly for me. But the extended range without a doubt was invaluable. That probably just won me that match, getting the amount of free damage I did before I got revealed, before I was forced to commit to an engagement. So if any of those survived, if he had warped them out and got the extended sensors, that would have changed that dynamic immediately. So I still say I got lucky there. Okay, it's been some time since I had this match with Arcos. I hope I even said that right, but it seems like we're going to get him again there, and since we're doing a convoy, I'm going to try and do him a favor and avoid killing his ships there, at least his actual cruisers. I'm going to do a bit of a pacifist run, as I so call it. I may still destroy any frigates he may have, but I'm going to try and preserve his cruisers and go straight for the conveyors if at all possible. I don't know if he had a match beforehand, or it's just, well, considering I was in the queue for a little bit after taking a break off from after that match, I don't think there was any other opponents for him to face off, so I'm a little bit surprised he's Admiral level 2. And I'm really close. If I had a Gothic, I could actually field 2 cruisers in, but that would get a little bit ridiculous. I want mobility though, with that said. Mobility is going to be pretty strong, and I have extended sensors. And ooh, this is perfect. I could get 2 firestorms. It remains to be seen if this goes well for me, but the 2 firestorms should be able to deal with any, conveyors that are out on their own. They should be able to, especially with the control, being able to ram them on their side, and ideally not get my own ships killed in the process. For the Chaos cruisers have, at least the regular light cruisers have a good means of supporting the conveyors even at long range, with the convenience of lances always hitting, but with like an actual cruiser, that actually changes a little bit, since they have a lot of macro batteries, and the Slaughter, I think, is the only one that has real broadside lances, is only, what, 6,000 range, so it's not going to be able to do that very well while trying to fight me, as weird as that may sound. Although there is, like, what, the Carnage, I think it is? I forget what it's called, that has the Prowl Lance, so even then, that's going to be really tricky to utilize. And is this the placement I want? No, it isn't. I want to be more in the middle, since I'm going to be wanting to get aggressive and trying to be in their face, but I want to have these frigates also able to kind of jump wherever the isolated conveyors are. Because I'm going to assume he's going to probably try and just fly them across the map, probably separate them. If my opponent feels like he could just beat me in a straight up fight, he may consider just having him sit back behind the cruisers. That's a possibility. And it looks like we might get that there. I still have extended range. Well, actually, I don't have extended sensors on my firestorms. There's something I haven't really thought much about. So this could be a little bit tricky for him to at least safely engage. But still, we got 5 ships there, so what is it, 2 light cruisers, maybe a cruiser, and then 3 frigates is what it's looking like. And it's easy to tell which ones are the conveyors because of the slow speed difference. Also, I have torpedoes, so I might as well damn well use them. I don't think they're going to hit the conveyor, which is kind of what I should have aimed for, but this debris here, this celestial body, is going to make that really tricky no matter what I do. But I want to kill off what I can and be very mindful of those conveyors. If anything, the firestorm should get ready to try and do some damage there, because they can easily jump those conveyors really quickly with their boosts. I'm just going to have to be mindful they're going to get revealed. Nope, already just pulling back, that's fine. Already spread out, I have extended range. And I do need to take these conveyors seriously. If we get a drawn out fight, it's going to be tricky to do. It's going to be tricky to kind of kill these things. Iconoclast, Stasis Bomb, that's fine. Now, you can boost if you so wish, or you could just try and just hold back, which honestly I would like you to hold back some. Got a hit there on that frigate. Gotta be mindful, these shields are not... Okay, I was wondering why you weren't moving there. Maybe because I didn't give you an order to move. Either way, what are we looking at? A bunch of Iconoclasts, conveyors are on the move. But that I kind of already knew. Now it's just a question, do I lock on? I think I do. Kill off these frigates as quickly as possible. Like I said, I'm going to try to avoid killing his cruisers. Oh wow, you actually got a level 2 cruiser, so You actually did get some matches in that I'm not aware of, apparently. Alright, I'm glad for you then. I'm hopeful it was actually a winning battle for you there, Arcaros. Or what, however you pronounce the name, I can't remember. Either way.
At your command.
Let's just try and keep these ships alive. We're going straight for the conveyors. And now let's hopefully give these things some... We gotta be threatening if I want to protect these cruisers or these frigates. I need to be as threatening as possible. Otherwise these things are going to die really quickly. And actually, let me set these to 3,000 units because their focus is pretty self-explanatory. And we might even just kill this one frigate. At least balance the odds a tiny bit, arguably. And these things have 200 shields. I gotta keep that in mind too. Although this looks like it could be good. Let me board this. Potentially kill off this frigate with a good boarding attempt. Doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Let's try and board it again. I was hoping it maybe board the conveyors, but not meant to be. Not yet there. And actually, let me just ram these. I was gonna say ram it with the frigates, but I could ram it with the Dauntless if I so wish. I just don't have the convenience of boosters. Oh, you could help ram him for me. That would be kind of nice. He's losing a bit of control there. But the idea is to ram him, knock him off course there some. This is going to be a simple end there, and it doesn't look like I'm going to lose a single ship. At the end of the day, though, I feel like I'm trying to do him a favor. Ooh, the explosion just sealed the deal for me. Which I don't know why the conveyors like to explode. It's not guaranteed, mind you. I don't think it's guaranteed anyway, but they always seem to explode, which makes it really precarious, really damn dangerous to have them clumped up like that. As made apparent there, even though that was looking like a win regardless. Maybe not all that exciting in comparison to the last match, I will admit. But at least my opponent's not going to lose his ships in the process. I hate to ruin their experience, hate to sour the mood. Especially since we're so close to Armada 2. Well, technically it's what, 3 months, maybe 3.5 months? More than that possibly? That, I'm still feeling like I'm interested in something new, something fresh. Because I think it's a little bit exaggerated to say that I feel like this Armada 1's a little bit drawn out, especially with the lack of updates. It's almost been like 2.5 years, I want to argue, at least since Tau was actually implemented, and even then there was very little patches, even balanced patches, I think even after that. So we are really well due for something brand new, and I'm getting more and more excited about it the closer we get. Stay tuned on that. Okay, we are back to 700 points with Solare here, and I don't quite remember what exactly Solare even does for a Chaos Fleet. I only remember that one time there where he was experimenting with his close-range macro cannons. I honestly couldn't remember. I don't even think I fought a real Chaos match with Solare just yet. And even then, since he had armor-piercing rounds and I didn't, since I was kind of leveling up a brand new Imperial Navy fleet at the time, I was kind of a huge underdog, never mind the fact that the Stasis Bomb bug actually triggered and denied, I think, 2 of my Tyrants their ability to fire on something that had like no health. If you were actually present for that video, or actually saw that video there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And we're going to try something a little bit different. Do I actually go? I would love Vision there. A beacon would kind of be handy, which is kind of why I want to go with the Retribution and Tyrants instead. I want those beacons as backup. Do I go with a Dictator? I don't know if it's going to be as helpful as I'm thinking, but with the extended range, at least its macro cannons with 9,000 range is actually going to be useful here. And it does give me a little bit of additional type of... Well, it does give me the beacons there. The only main concern I don't like, which is why I go with the Retribution so much, is the raw shield health of at least my battleship to kind of sit in front and take the hits. Since once a beacon stuck on me, and it looks like we may have latency issues too, which might be a bit of a scare too. I'm really hoping that's not the case, but that's why I like having the Retribution so much, since it has like 400 health, the Frost Pattern Void shields, as well as like, yeah, faster recharge on the shields no less, if I even get to that point. It's really damn difficult for it to lose its shields for a simple autocast beacon to stick on it. And it does also give me enough time to kind of like get out of the beacons that is using to initiate combat, and yeah, just outrun as a result. So ideally I can make him burn multiple resources or multiple skills before we eventually are forced into combat, which is kind of why I like that. In this case, 200 shield points, and I don't want to... The reason I don't want to auto-cast with the void shield transfers is that they will activate on any damage done to them. So 8 damage with a lance is not really practical. It's 100 points of damage I want to utilize. And my Dictator's not quite in the best spot, but I think that's okay. For I don't think there's really much... Oh, he has the spoiler. Well, this changes the dynamic a little bit here. The Dictator is going to be essential for this, I want to argue. Really damn potent, and let's see. I don't think it's possible I can dodge that really easily. I do have gas clouds, who am I kidding? Let's just utilize this gas cloud here. Maybe it's a mistake. But if I can get myself hit in, that's good, and I can also assault run. That's not even a problem either. It's just the priorities that Solari may be able to utilize as a result of this. It remains to be seen. So I'll happily take this, and if I could just go to the gas cloud on the left there. I think I'm more comfortable with the assault run. We'll just take our time, though. Since I don't want to force engagement while my orders are still on cooldown. We'll see. We will see. He is definitely going to have another beacon up. Which is probably why I should assault run earlier, when I know that thing was going to activate. And I didn't even need assault run with everything. That was just a bad habit at that point. Also, Widowmaker should not get too far forward because, again, like I mentioned earlier, its sensor range is the exact same range as my macro battery, so that's not really a concern. I just gotta be mindful of the dang despoiler gonna make it tricky for my torpedoes to do damage. But if I'm hitting, then I'm doing what's necessary. He's kind of forced to play by my tune, as opposed to me engaging him. So I just take my time, soften him up as much as possible, and look for weak links and opportunities to kill. And it's hard to say if I'm actually getting hits. Okay, probably not, since he was kind of facing directly at the ships. We're going to keep an eye on this Widowmaker. I'm going to have Cobras up in a moment. And this actually works well for me since I'm already flying the gas cloud. I'm not quite going to get torpedo shots I like, but I think I'm okay with that. I just gotta be mindful. Lances are gonna hit me though, so we gotta be quick about this. So let's boost with this. This will trigger any lances he may be firing. Split the damage a tiny bit. Maybe not all that much, but at least makes it so I don't have to burn a shield transfer. Here's hoping. Moment of truth. Moment of truth? Yep. He's not really hitting all that hard. I'm good here. And the gas cloud does its job. Okay, this is the macro fleet. I would love to fire torpedoes, and it is Nurgle as well. Gotta be very mindful. The good news, though, is Nurgle doesn't actually stack. It's the one thing I got going for me here. Is there a way I can fire torpedoes and soften this up? Probably not. And damn it, what is this? Well, I find it irritating he's using stasis bombs, because I'm kind of forced to play around that with the bug. As I said, I don't really have much of a choice, alas. And I do have an auger disruptor, which doesn't help too much just yet, but can I do the damage necessary? Auger disruptor. I do have overlords too, let's keep that in mind. Just hide my ships, do what I can, mic warp jump. And I need to prioritize my targets really damn well. Just get moving, everything's hitting. The stasis bomb's annoying as well, but I'm gonna have to silent run. Come on, do what damage you can there. I am a bit separated. I hate these stasis bombs, because if I willingly fly into them, then there's not really a lot I can do. I'm forced to hold my fire to make sure I don't bug up my weaponry. Yeah. Let's go in there, let's ram them. Get the damage going. I do not have an auger disruptor, but I have something just as good, and damn it, stop it with these stasis bombs, you cursed thing. It's not enjoyable, needless to say, with this bug. Because now I have to hold fire with 2 of my ships. Oh my. This is not going to be a good time. Here, I'll even demonstrate. Take a good look at this tyrant. It is not going to fire for a good minute at this point. I can guarantee it at this point. But I can still fire torpedoes at least. So there is at least that. I have the dictator.
At your command.
Okay, so since I did turn around and did fire, but the point is the broadside. Was it? I don't even know if it's the port. I want to kind of demonstrate that the right side, this thing won't get to shoot anymore. I did that on purpose, so I want to demonstrate now.
Underway.
And the Nurgle should not be stacking. That's something I really need to pay attention. So it's not really as potent as it could be. We'll see. Come on, run away now, run away. I do have Auger Disruptor, although this beacon does not help me very much in this regard.
Your orders.
Can we kill this thing? I didn't use my
Orders received.
I didn't use my supercharged void shield the best, but it doesn't really help me in that regard. I'm getting screwed over mostly by the stasis bombs, it feels like. Because I don't really have a choice to engage. I have to avoid them or I just can't do crap. At least this side is actually shooting. But it was like the right side I need to demonstrate. Now let's see, is it actually going to shoot since it hasn't shot for a while? No, it is not. This is why the stasis bomb's a pain in the ass as it is. It forces me to not be able to engage properly. I have to dodge them. I don't have much of a choice. It's a shame. It's a shame it has to be such a sour mood there. I would like to try and play it seriously. Devil Insubordinate is kind of funny though. Oh well. Not a whole lot I can do about it there. Since I should be able to beat that straight up, unless Nurgle's actually stacking. That would be the exception there. Since if Nurgle is not supposed to, it shouldn't be able to. I have no words for that, the spoiler punt. I have no words for it. I do need to pay attention to that. The torpedoes can do a ridiculous amount of damage. I just need to make sure I hit the side to kind of increase my chances to hit early on. So maybe I do wide spreads. It would help protect me a little bit from the stasis bomb some. At least that way multiple ships aren't affected. It just requires more micromanagement for that to work. So I'm going to have to give that a try to an extent. But we know he still has the Carnage fleet, or at least the macro turret fleet. I just wish I knew how to deal with the stasis bombs, because if he's fielding nothing but stasis bombs, I have little option there in that regard. Maybe that wasn't the poor example, or the best example rather, to demonstrate the bug in action. So I'm just going to do something a little bit different on why it's such a big deal. Okay, I said I was going to do something different. What I actually have in mind here, although with double stasis bombs, it might actually be a little bit tricky. I'm going to do myself a quick little demonstration of what exactly the stasis bomb bug entails there. And it's pretty simple to replicate there, although there is a little bit of a delay, like I said, since we're going to have to wait for the duration of both these bombs to go off. For what it actually does is... What it actually does there is it actually reduces the rate of fire, even though technically it's supposed to just reduce the projectile speed and everything like that and movement speed. It actually reduces the rate of fire for the weaponry for these ships as well. And that extends to outside the actual stasis bomb, which I'm going to demonstrate by shooting at two targets at once, basically. It's not going to be a pleasant experience, but you can see my macro cannons, even though I decide to hold fire all the time or not firing at the moment. And we're going to see multiple times, as I hopefully don't get this thing murdered too quickly, that my left broadside, my left cannons are still going to continue to fire almost completely unhindered. It's going to be like about a minute or so maybe until the actual weaponry decides to kick back in. And also note my lances aren't firing throughout all of this as well. It is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to say much else, really. Although I feel bad for his poor retribution being used as like my guinea pig to experiment and test this out. And the orcs are really damn up close and personal anyway, so it makes it actually tricky to see these macro cannons in effect. At least as effective as I like. It basically leaves my weaponry, leaves my lances with the fact that they have 12 second reload time. It easily is going to take about a minute, well over a minute for the weaponry actually come back online. There they are coming back up now. It is pretty brutal, and it is the reason I feel like that I was single-handedly screwed over in that match with Solare. In all seriousness, if I was possible, I could have just stood my ground since Solari was flying directly at me. Even with the stasis bomb slowing down my projectiles, they still would have hit his ships there and I still probably would have done significant damage. But when you consider the fact it denies my rate of fire, even outside the stasis bombs, it would have been a death sentence if I stayed in there. So there was not really a lot I can do. Well, look who it is again, it's Arskasen. And while it did say 700 points, or rather it does say 700 point battles, I did have to wait like maybe 10-15 seconds roughly, so I suspect maybe he's Admiral level 7, not really Admiral level 8. Honestly, I can't remember what I actually fought. Again, I don't know what I encountered when I fought him last time, to be honest, so I'm not entirely certain. Nonetheless, Space Marines is still no joke. I need to rely heavily on both my armor-piercing rounds and my torpedoes if I want to really do some reliable, consistent damage. And I'm going to need a dictator for the potential threat of boarding torpedoes. So let's go with 4 cruisers again there. I like this fleet composition. The dictator is a bit of a weird one, because I feel like it doesn't really contribute a whole lot, especially when you consider it doesn't have actual armor-piercing rounds, which is kind of self-explanatory, seeing as it doesn't really get a lot of macro fire or macro weaponry in general. Well, technically it has half the macro fire potential as the Tyrants and the Overlords in all seriousness, but the bombers are still a welcome addition. They are kind of required to help deal with the potential boarding torpedoes, especially if I'm so unlucky as to get reveals really early on due to bad positioning or bad awareness of like a recon probe that's going to fly by me there. So it helps to alleviate that, and even then, if I'm fighting vanguards, there was a match that I was planning on doing for my last video, but it dragged on full 20 minutes and it just involved, was it 3 vanguards and a battle barge, and all my opponent did was fly away from me the entire time with the vanguards, relying on that gimmick of the boarding torpedoes to do all the work for him there. And the reason that was so troublesome for me was because I did not decide to field my dictator. It was the Retribution, the 2 Tyrants, and a Dauntless, I think it was, for that match, and it went out for the full 20 minutes there. He just basically avoided me completely, and it was going incredibly well up until I got revealed and he stuck beacons on me due to convenient boarding torpedoes, basically killing my generator. Never mind the fact that the battle barge is actually pretty good at destroying my shields. Even with the, yeah, it has the macro cannons and it has the means to do it quickly on its own, single-handedly. But what am I expecting here? 4 ships? This seems pretty straightforward, although let's not ram into a mine. That would be ideal. I was hoping for an opportunity to maybe shoot torpedoes, but with the Celestial body in the way, that's probably not very practical, which I'm okay with for now. If I can get a good angle on him, maybe it welcomes me to get a good broadside or his side with the torpedoes a little bit. But this dictator is required. I'm going to have to wait until I clear that body if I'm going to do any real damage, although I take that back, since it looks like we're already clearing it. Now, let's get ourselves in position. I'm going to try and crisscross these torpedoes for that very reason, ideally. Although, in all seriousness, I should probably try and do it a little bit closer like this, because the reason that's effective is that it crisscross a little bit better, and I don't know why Discord's making noise on me, damn it. Yeah, I have that running there at the moment, and that's the first time it actually is intruding. Everything seems to be intruding on me there. First, the Windows notification update, and now this. Is it because I have Battlefleet Gothic now windowed as opposed to Force full screen? I can't quite remember. Nonetheless, I'm going to have to fix that afterwards. And did we do any damage? No, we just brained out the fleet, which is fine. This allows and opens up opportunity for me to punish his fleet for being spread out. I could potentially dive bomb or jump one of his ships. And he is assault running, but that's not going to do him much good because I have myself a good old, what is it, Widowmaker to kind of reveal him. I do have a lot of long-range macro cannons. They're just not going to do a whole lot of damage, aside for the fact that I can benefit off this prospect. Okay, boring torpedoes, that's kind of no surprise there. Now, I guess this may be the same person I just encountered. I don't know, and maybe I didn't need the assault run. Hopefully it's not that kind of match where he's just going to kite all day. I am more prepared for it this time, though, with my dictator. Just gotta be mindful of these torpedoes. That's gonna be a pain in the ass to deal with. If I could do damage, that's good. Although going after the Vanguard is a horrible idea just because of its speed and mobility. All those torpedoes are getting hit there. Fighters are doing their work. just take our time. He has like 3-4 of those recon probes, so I'm gonna be forced to play it slow and just reveal them and keep an eye out for my Widowmaker. I almost am wondering if I should silent run immediately so that way we can't predict where the Widowmaker is for said beacon. Alright, level 9 ship. I would love to get torpedoes off, and this is not going to do much. I almost am tempted to go in the asteroid belt, but I could silent run this easily. Autocast torpedoes, yeah. This is the same opponent that I fought that dragged on for 20 minutes, so I apologize if this may be a little lackluster, for these beacons are now obscuring my pathway as an inconvenient result because the celestial body is also in the way. I'm going to have to trust the Dictator and the fighters to shoot these things down. And it's looking promising. One more. Out of one torpedo did hit, but it was a failure at least. I want to find the battle barge though. Once I find the battle barge, I can work around that really damn well. Since that thing is so immobile and so large, the torpedoes are going to eventually stick. Oh, he's actually helping me in that regard. Maybe it's not as effective as I'm making it sound because it does have additional fighters and more point defense, but I can at least use this to my advantage. I don't need to spot it with the Widowmaker anymore. And we know where all the ships are. Let's just try and get some damage on this thing. It's going to be a really damn slow process with that said. Alright, so he's trying to reveal me there. I do have the Dictator to help a ton in this regard, and that's also Chapter Master, so destroying that is a big deal. Maybe it's not as effective as I like it to be, but let's see if I can at least do some damage on these things. That was not what I want. I want the Cobra, you cursed thing. That's a shame that bugged out. That's the box selecting for you in a nutshell, huh? I can deal with this really damn well, and we can deal with this Vanguard once I get clear of the celestial body. I just gotta dodge these torpedoes to the best of my ability, maximize the potential, and of course try and keep my Cobras alive as well. Come on, you better run. If you want to keep fishing on this thing, you're gonna have to go for it. You're gonna have to commit to this. Although this is again going to be a really anticlimactic match. I never did pay attention to who's the defender, and I feel like I shouldn't have to for the purposes of winning. This is just dull combat. Because I can deal with this. I have the Dictator to help a ton in this regard. Just got to be mindful of if my fighters are not going to be able to contribute the best, with that said. But those are all 3 beacons. I can continue to shoot at our friend, the battle barge some. I just gotta make sure I have torpedoes pointed at it for that reason. And I am revealed by... which ship is revealed at the moment? So that way I can seriously consider assault run. I think it's this one here, this one Tyrant. Or is it the Overlord? Yep, this is the Tyrant, and that was the one that was revealed. So let's get him tired of this charade, and I got Fission, and I do have Lances to at least get some consistent damage off.
Orders received.
I have fighters going. The main trick is to make sure... that was a bad idea, but I'm going to start run with pretty much everything already, so that's not a big deal just yet. And I have my bombers, I have my fighters. Let's run this thing quickly. And ideally, do some good damage to this thing in the process. I'm not exactly getting the hits I want, but hopefully these fighters do these things, they're getting delayed. No, you're just firing at the Dictator, that's fine. Not very exciting there, but we did get some really good damage on that Vanguard so far. So far, anyway. Can we hide and dodge these things? Yeah, Dictator's doing work. This is the value of the damn ship right there. How it's single-handedly doing so much value. Doing so much work for me there. I just gotta keep it strong, and do I need to repair fighters? Not quite. I do have repairs going on too. I just gotta be careful of the shields going out. And he is kind of getting a little bit impatient, only a little bit. And damn it, I had to fly into that. Although the battle barge has come into effect now, can we punish this thing? The bad news is I think my Widowmaker is going to hit myself because it ended up in that group. Dodge the torpedoes. He is micro warp jumping, that's fine. I do have assault run for this. I just gotta get out of the dang... There we go.
Ship ready.
Get out of the dang thing and let myself be spotted.
We are the Imperial Navy.
Oh, I kind of let myself get spotted there too, because I boosted with everything. That was a bit of a shame.
Activating tactical cogitators.
Do I have an auger disruptor ready?
At your command. Resuming normal
Come on.
functions.
Your assault running? You should be hitting there at this point. That's kind of what I want right now, so
At your command.
do what you're meant to do. Come on. Oh, it's the other Vanguard is spawning, isn't it?
Awaiting orders.
That's not a problem there. That easily alleviates a lot of my problem. At least a little bit. And it does deny the lock-on potential at least too. And that was a shield transfer I did not want, but if the torpedoes can stick, the torpedoes are sticking beautifully in my book.
Activating tactical cogitators. Yes, Admiral.
So this thing is going to be in a lot of trouble. Let's brace for impact. Maybe I'll ram this thing. Punish the fact that this thing is pretty restricted what it can do. It's gonna hurt like hell.
Awaiting orders.
Supercharge is not available. I have Cobras also help. Let's just make use of my armor-piercing rounds. Those are the main reasons I have the damn things, after all.
Underway.
Kill this thing quickly and put myself in good shape.
Your orders.
Only thing that doesn't have armor-piercing rounds is my Dictator, which sadly that was a bad torpedo salvo with that said.
Orders received.
Stick a beacon on me. See if I care, just kill the battle barge, and maybe deal with our Vanguard friends that are on the run.
Tactical cogitators.
My tire actually exploded, so that's a bit of a shame. I got repairs.
Activating tactical cogitators.
There, battle barge is also gone.
At your command.
Now run, disengage,
An escort ship.
and I did lose my,
At
what is
your
it,
command.
my Widowmaker, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm about to silent run in a moment too.
Course.
Can I silent run? Nope, not yet.
Going silent.
I'm gonna have to get hit in and try and cripple these things. I have overlords.
Awaiting orders.
I have 2 overlords even, so I don't have to worry too much.
Course.
Oh, he did stick a beacon on me because I was a little bit slow on that, but if we could start killing these Vanguards, that still helps.
Ship
I just
ready.
gotta stop launching bombers. I gotta replenish my fighters, with that said.
Yes, Admiral.
Actually, let's just replenish all the fighters.
Understood.
Generator's gone there. That doesn't help me much just yet, but I'm replenishing the fighters. Repairs are not available. That thing's gonna slowly burn though, which is where the fighters come in.
Orders received.
10 seconds for this. Just don't be heavily damaged. That's all I want. And that way I can get your health back up and in good shape.
Course plotted.
Ideally, let the Dictator take point.
Yes, Admiral.
Repairs are up, fire's gone. Now 80 seconds till this thing's
Your orders.
gone. So it's going to be tricky, but
Understood.
I'm hoping the fighters are up for a task there.
Changing
I'm really
course.
hopeful at least, because this is what I was talking about. He's just running away from
your
me.
command.
Nothing very exciting, but I can wedge him into a corner some. Hope he just can see it. Well, at least he was smarter than last time. But to be fair, I kind of messed up without having a Dictator. Not the most enjoyable, but it is something you can work around. Even more so, if that was really a problematic type of matchup I would have to go against, I could just easily get an Emperor or second Dictator. I wouldn't be very powerful in close, mind you, or at least it would be heavily hindered. But you can see the value of just those fighters alone, because I need to re-emphasize, even if I had my ships turned around and flying away from the boring torpedoes, the point defense would only shoot once for that entire time. They would not get a chance to reload and shoot them again, unless they are outside of range and then come back in when they do like a pass around. So the Dictator is really damn invaluable for that, as demonstrated. I don't think I need to explain anything more than that.